Okay, welcome back to Readings and Commentary with Insane Sam. These are readings from history, philosophy, poetry, literature, just anything in the written word I like that I think you might like. And today I've got the most famous poem written by Dylan Thomas. You may have heard this one before. It's called "Do Not Go Gentle Into That Good Night." Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Though wise men at their end know dark is right, because their words had forked no lightning, they did not go gentle into that good night. Good men, the last wave by, crying how bright their frail deeds might have danced in a green bay. Rage, rage at the dying of the light. Wild men who caught and sang the sun in flight, and learned too late they grieved it's on its way, did not go gentle into that good night. Grave men, near death, who see with blinding sight, blind eyes could blaze like meteors and be gay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. And you, my father, there on the sad height, curse, bless me now, your fierce tears, I pray. Do not go gentle into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. So Dylan Thomas wrote this poem for his father when his father was dying of throat cancer. And Dylan Thomas would die just a few years after he wrote this poem. But I've always found it a little curious about just who the rage is for. I suspect, like most people with a serious illness, Dylan Thomas's father stood up to it pretty well and wanted to live as long as he could with a decent life. But I doubt there was much raging against the dying of the light on his part. This sounds more to me like a selfish Dylan Thomas wants to save his father for his own relationship and wants to save his father from the dying of the light because it's good for Dylan Thomas, not for his father. In any event, that's the poem. It's his most famous one. And he's got these themes about beating death throughout his works, and you'll get some of that later in the week when I do some more Dylan Thomas poetry. Now, to clear up a myth about Dylan Thomas, there is a myth that he drank himself to death at the White Horse Tavern in Greenwich Village in New York. And he drank 18 shots of whiskey one night, walked out in the street, and dropped dead. That's only about a third true. He was a big drunk for sure, a very talented drunk, but a drunk nonetheless. And he apparently did have his very last binge at the White Horse Tavern. But he didn't walk out into the street and die. He got taken back to his hotel room where he fell ill. He was later taken to St. Vincent's Hospital in New York, where he died a few days later of pneumonia and a fatty liver and other complications from his alcoholism. But I kind of like the other version where he drank himself to death in one night at the White Horse. They'll tell you that if you go in there, and it's still a great bar to this day. So that's the reading for today. Do me a favor, subscribe, get your friends to subscribe, and with that, Insane Sam out.